It's the way to go. Eat a fig, not a pig, let your kindness show. If it's your wig or a jig or a swig, do you dig? Big. It's the way to go. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
When something's fat, there's a lot to show. It's gotta be fat to help the movement grow. Making fat loud chat that won't be flat. It's fat. And here's our show. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
Got that vegan glow, like a drag queen calling Patrick Goudreau. I'm a YouTube beacon cooking up good eating. Veganism makes me glow. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
All right, vegans, all together now! When something's fat, there's a lot to show. It's gotta be fat to help the movement grow. Making fat loud chat that won't be flat. It's fat. It's the way to go. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
Oh god, and now I gotta burp. Here we are. Hey. So,
wasn't ready for video. I wasn't ready.
You know what? You look ready, so there's that.
Well, didn't know we were gonna have a video on.
So,
I'm a radio star.
We are, well, star. I mean, what is a star? So I got the script here. So this is the hi. If you're watching, welcome. This is the video version. We're not a video podcast, but we are interviewing a very special guest today, and so we thought it might be fun for you guys to watch.
This isn't even an interview; it's an appearance.
It's really an appearance, yeah. And Michael, you should be honored because we don't do appearances frequently. No, we've done one appearance before,
and it was me.
You. So, I'm just gonna jump right into the script, okay?
Hit it.
Hey everyone, welcome to Big Fat Vegan Radio. We're podcasting from New York City.
And San Francisco.
And New Jersey.
What? Who is that? Who is that even? Is there an echo in here?
That person who took a big pause.
I just heard lots of gayness out of nowhere all of a sudden.
We're so gay today.
To discuss veganism in all of its glory. I am here with Laura Yaz, vegan writer and entertainment know-it-all.
Hey. And I'm here with Ben Strothman, otherwise known as Honey LaBronx, everyone's favorite vegan drag queen.
And we're here with Michael.
The
Michael Harren.
Hi. Hi.
You guys can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching for Big Fat Vegan Radio.
And you can follow along with our show notes at bigfatveganradio.com.
So we got a special guest for you today. I was thinking about titling this episode, The Michael Harren Talks About What a Good Person He Is. He's got some awesome news.
Michael Harren, take two.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I love you guys so much.
And you're growing on us. Too. You're really growing on us.
Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you.
We love you too. I just realized I should grab a sheet of paper so I can record notes, because one of us is bound to swear or curse, and I need to be able to record that. So we.
Oh, do you keep track of the bad words?
I do. I learned rather than listening to the entire episode all the way through, start to finish, afterwards. It's so much easier if I just jot down when the bad word happened.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
See, I'm more paranoid than Ben. I still listen through anyway when I'm editing. I love it. I don't trust my notes.
I always intentionally curse on my podcast. I don't know why. I feel like it makes me feel special.
I'm just
you're more hardcore.
Yeah, because I'm pretty blanking hardcore.
Oh, see,
okay,
you see, that's how it works.
I have to stop my gay voice.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to. I mean,
you are totally using your gay voice. It's okay.
For the purpose of editing, I'm just going to quickly say that right now I am starting my timer because I'm realizing there's no timer on this window, so I don't know when to mark the minutes. So that's where the timer is, and it's roughly about 2 to 3 minutes in. So let me grab a pen, and I'll be right with you guys. Yeah.
So are we still doing, is the podcast still happening right now, or are we cutting this part out?
No, it's happening. Why would we cut that out? Why would we cut that out?
No reason. I would imagine. Yeah.
So, yeah, should we start by, like, talking about why Michael is even here?
Yeah. Are you asking me?
I guess I'm asking you. Where are you, Michael? Tell the people. The people want to know where you at.
Where are you broadcasting from?
I am broadcasting from Tamerlaine Farm Animal Sanctuary in Montague, New Jersey.
So nice.
Yes, it's so much fun. I've been here for, I guess, 4 days. I go back to New York tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But I haven't told anyone this news yet. I'm telling you guys first. Well, I mean, I've told people I know, but not, like, I haven't put on my website or anything. I'm going to be
That's right. We have breaking news, listeners. We have breaking news.
I'm the first ever artist in residence at Tamerlaine Farm Animal Sanctuary. It feels so, like, fake because I made it up. Like, I was like, hey, you guys, can I be the artist in residence? And they're like, yes. That's how hard it was. But it officially starts in September 1st. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to spend as much time here as I can, between teaching and everything I do in the city. And I am going to really just volunteer as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And I'm working on writing a new show that'll be all about animals and my sort of spiritual beliefs about animals and humans and our interaction with each other. And it'll be my my thing I do. What do you call it? Multimedia. There'll be my electronics and some other musicians and storytelling. Wow. And it's going to be performed at Dixon Place in October 2016. So it's like on their calendar and everything. So I'll have a 3-night run of it, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And
I gotta get my plane ticket.
Yes, child. But it's so much fun. Like, hanging out here has been so much work, but it's really, like, super cool. I'm really into it.
In my experience, when I volunteer,
working on a farm.
Generally, in my experience, when you're working at a farm sanctuary, really, like, 70% of the work is just shoveling poop. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I was actually I was shoveling poop right before we got on this call.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shoveling poop, and there's a little, like, it's mostly chickens here, but there's a little hospital area where, like, the chickens that need special attention are. Mm-hmm. So you can't really shovel their little cages that they're in. You have to reach in and just pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can wear a glove. I
just remember...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, when I did this at Heartland Farm Sanctuary in Verona, Wisconsin, it was January, and so I found that rather than, like, shoveling it, it was just easier to, like, break it off into chunks because it was frozen, and then just, like, carry it. Never looking at me like I'm crazy, but I'm like, girl, it's frozen. It's frozen poop. Like,
everything's fine. Yeah, I'm even like that with the dry pieces, and I'm like, okay, girl.
Yeah.
Girl.
Hey, my mom once taught me you can always wash your hands. That has gotten me through some times.
You know what hit me is really ironic today, and I don't know if we can really talk about human poop on this podcast. Is that allowed?
Sure. We're vegans.
I love poop.
So I took a break from, like, from mucking out there's a big barn where, like, all of these chickens are, and all of the Kaporos chickens that you sort of helped get connected to come out here are in this big barn. So I was out there, like, with a pitchfork scooping poop out, and then I was like, oh, I gotta go poop myself. So I went and pooped, and then I washed my hands before I went back to scooping poop. It just hit me as sort of funny. I was like, why am I washing my hands to go pick up poop?
Isn't that funny, the association humans have with human poop? Like, I remember once I was at, like, a rest stop on some road trip, and I stepped in poop. Like, I went to pee in the woods, and then, like, while I was, like, by a tree peeing, I realized I had stepped in something, and I'm on my way back to the car. My friend sees me dragging my heel to, like, get it off my shoes. What happened? I'm like, I stepped in dog stuff. And he's like, girl, I don't think that was dog stuff. I'm like, yes, it's dog stuff. We're just going to go with it's dog stuff. Like, what is the difference? What is the difference?
Yeah, I don't know. But
humans are disgusting. That's the difference.
I guess so.
Oh, I love it.
I saw this pug.
Well, that's really exciting, Michael. I can't wait for your show, and I think that these experiences are going to really add to your inspiration and content.
It's super it's super interesting. I'm gonna like keep my podcast going and possibly start vlogging on the days that I'm here and do like a daily farm vlog. And oh my god, I wanted like so many animals came here this week, you guys, while I was here. There are 6
Yeah, you got
turkeys.
a whole group of turkeys, right?
Yeah. And then last night, there's a person that works here, Rocky. She was she had a friend that found 6 roosters, and like they're just had been dumped on the highway, and like not all of them have survived, but 3 of them did, and they're here. She brought them here last night. Wow. So it's 3 new roosters.
How are they doing?
They're good. They were really freaked out when they got here last night because they had been like just standing on the side of the road and like cars zooming by and stuff. And it was in the middle of the night, but they seem fine. They have to be kept like in a separate area until they're vetted and checked for like salmonella, and I think salmonella. I'm still learning so much. I may say like crazy things that are not true.
Yeah.
So
okay.
There's a disclaimer for that, but they do have to be checked to make sure they don't have mites or anything that could be transmitted to the rest of the chickens here.
To the other birds, right?
So Michael, can you just tell us a little bit like as an artist, I'm curious about like the structure of what you're doing. So like how is it working? Like are you staying there for a whole year? Are you going out in fits and spells? Like, and you know, what is it like? Can you talk at all about your process as you're creating this, or is it kind of just coming to you?
It's kind of both. Like I in my mind it was going to start September 1st, which I'm still considering is the start date of it. But honestly, like in a lot of ways, I'm really just asking them, can I come and volunteer at the farm and call it an artist residency? Mm-hmm. I mean, because it's going to, whatever. But I came up here just to visit on 4th of July, and Gabrielle was like, oh, I want to talk to you about some dates. And I was like, yeah, maybe I could, come on during spring break. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's great. But at the end of July, we need someone what month is this? July. No, August.
We're now August.
Oh my God.
Today is August 1st.
How did that happen?
It's crazy.
You guys, it's almost my birthday.
I cannot wait.
I hope you put those presents in the mail.
Oh, they're on the way. So I'm just sort of making it up as I go. Like, I'm going to figure out this week, now that my school schedule is getting into place, and like find some big chunks of time that I can come for a week or two. But otherwise, I'll probably be coming up on weekends and that type of thing. And I'm just going to write about, I already have some ideas about writing about particular animals here and sort of trying to find connections with their sort of journey and my journey. If that makes any sense.
Well, I think that's really powerful. I mean, it's some of the news stories we're going to talk about today, obviously, speak to how strong people connect with the story of an individual, which is one of the reasons I think farm animals don't get that attention, is we're very rarely allowed to connect with them as an individual. And even me, I mean, because I'm a vegan and obviously I care about all this stuff. But when we were at the Gentle Barn and that woman told us the story about Buttercup, I mean, it was really overwhelming for me emotionally because I was standing there touching her and she very much became an individual to me, which that's, I think, the most powerful thing we can do. That's the reason, I think, for me, that's one of the big reasons I think people connect with their pets, because they really do see them as individuals, Yeah.
Yeah, I had a moment yesterday. There are 2 pigs here, Clara and Artie. And Clara is kind of a little, to be honest. Oh, I just said a bad word. The other side of the story is she lived with a hoarder and lived in a bathroom for a year. So, she's kind of entitled to be a little cranky, I think.
Yeah.
I would do it too.
I know. I was hanging out with her yesterday, and it just, the thing about being here, it sort of connects. I know all the stories about what happens in factory farms and what happens in slaughterhouses, but when I'm looking at a pig and, this big pig that's, 150 pounds, and it hits me oh, this is who that's happening to. Making that connection has been really poignant isn't the right word. It really connected with me somehow. I know, really sad, but it's sad and super happy because this is a refugee camp in a way, because all these animals came from bad situations, or there are some chickens here from a battery farm that would have been killed, but a sanctuary found a way to fly these chickens to all these different places. And so now they're alive and hanging out here. And then those Kaporis chickens that were going to be like all jacked up are now here too, and not killed in a weird ritual.
All jacked up. That's just such a great summarization of what would happen.
We're going to be all jacked up.
These chickens are all jacked up.
What is Kippur?
Well, all jacked up.
It's a time of year when the Jewish people jack up some chickens for atonement.
But only the most religious of the Jewish people.
Yeah, and
only the ones that are really dedicated to God.
Not to be confused with getting turned up.
No, not getting turned up. But only the choseniest of the chosen. I actually was in a conversation. I was in a conversation the other day with someone, not someone who's vegan, someone who I was having lunch with, and he was I was talking about, like, you know, what it is I want to cause as an activist, and I was like, well, you know, because I am actually one of those. He's Orthodox, and I'm like, I am one of those guys that you see protesting at Kippuris, and he was like, you're one of them, and I'm like, I'm one of them.
Wow.
Like, this is who we are, and he's like, oh man, and he's like, look, I partake in that ritual and blah blah blah, but like, it was a short enough moment in the conversation when we didn't really have the time to get into that, but like, it just, I don't know. Anyway, I have nothing more to say about that because it didn't really go anywhere, but it was one of those just moments. It was like, you're
one of them, like. Yeah, I'm one of the people that says, please don't swing a effing chicken over your head. Like, sorry that I'm that guy.
He did acknowledge, though. He did acknowledge, though. He's like, well, you know, technically, he's like, we're not commanded to do this. He's like, it's a cultural thing. It's not a religious thing. He's like, nowhere does it say we have to do it. It's just a custom. And some of us, the bottom line is, for them, if they're being, by them I mean the people who are participating in the ritual, if they're being told by their rabbi that this is what's expected of them, they do that. You know, that is what they're like. That's who we listen to. You know. Anyway, so rather than going down that rabbit hole, Michael, we're talking about individuals, and so you talk about these pigs. Who are some of the other individuals that you've really connected with there?
I connected with one of the Kaporis chickens this morning. That sounds so dirty. Well, this morning I connected with it. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
You can backpedal. I'm giving you space to backpedal right now.
I didn't find it dirty, but I am like a total prude, so I rarely find things dirty.
So, what I keep calling her the wrong name. Casey is one of the Kaporis chickens, and she's in the hospital. Like there are 3 chickens in particular that have, like, I was about to say jacked up again. They have really jacked up legs. Their legs are splayed, and it's because they're treated so rough during Kaporis. And so I sent a picture to you guys of Casey this morning because I was cleaning out her cage, and like
She's
I just
cute.
She's so cute, and she can't stand up because her legs are like.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so they keep them. She gets to actually. That's not true. They put a little brace on her legs. She was outside. She's outside right now. They put brace that kind of pull her legs together a little bit so she can walk. And then there are other 2 chickens that are in these little sort of wheelchair, like, there's a towel that sort of they rest in so their legs can, like, touch the ground and it strengthens their legs. But they just found out that there's a vet that can do surgery on their legs, and oh, look, there she is.
I got a picture. Oh, you got it? I had this.
Oh,
there she is. Wait, hang on. That's not really. I don't know how I get my screen. There she is. There's Casey.
Hey, Casey. So I was cleaning out her. Oh, so they're getting surgery, and the vet can put stents in their legs, something in their legs, so that they'll be able to walk out in a couple of. So they're getting the surgery on Tuesday.
Oh, what a great idea!
So the little chickens are going to be able to walk again.
Have they done this before? I mean, that's speculating, I guess, but that's awesome that there's. I mean, I'm so moved whenever I see, like, technology and engineering that allows disabled animals to become mobile again. Like when you see, you know, there was some goat our hen house talked a lot about this goat that had like a problem with its legs, and then it got kind of this little like canopy that it sat in that had wheels, and so it actually got to like walk again. And how you know, I mean, understanding the psychology of animals for a lot of us is still really out of reach, but like, it's just so awesome to see that that animal knows, like, oh yeah, this is a thing that is here to help me be mobile again. I'm gonna hop into my little like vehicle, you know?
Yeah. It's so cute. So Casey this morning, I was cleaning out her cage and I was kind of petting her. She leaned her head like really like not hard, but like rested her head into my hand, and I was just holding her little head, and she was like literally her head was snuggling into my hand. A chicken. I feel like such a little country. They're so cute. And yesterday I was holding little Fiona because I got attacked by the roosters. Roosters. Have you been in a rooster thing before? Because I don't know. I had a couple of days of thinking, like, oh, I'm blessed. Clara the pig has not tried to bite me. These roosters, everyone says, are so mean. Are like every time I go in there, they're like, oh hey, what's up? And I even picked up the head rooster by mistake because they asked me to pick up this other rooster. So I pick up Chip, who's like the head rooster, and he's like really aggressive. And I was like, this one?
Oh, no.
And they're like, oh no, nope, don't, not that one. Put him down. And I put him down, and he was just fine. So I was like, oh, they know I'm vegan. They know like I'm this good person. So these animals.
I'm the rooster whisperer.
Yeah. So that all ended yesterday when I was in there. Like I was trying to clean out their water, like their water bowl thing, and I was going in to get it, and they all like three of them surrounded me and started pecking at my feet, and I was like, this is cool, everything's fine. And then one of them starts flapping up, like flying at me, and I was like, okay, bye y'all, and I left, and I haven't been back in there since. So after that, I was hanging out with the chickens over in the bigger farm because Rocky is the animal caretaker that's here right now, and she was like just handing me chickens, like here's one that'll cuddle with you. You need to cuddle with chickens after that. So I was cuddling with little Fiona. I was holding one chicken named Fiona, and then another chicken named Mushroom like jumped up on my other leg, like just jumped up and was like, let's cuddle. So they're super cute. And
animals know when you need that. Animals just know.
Yeah, so it's super cute and fun and like a ton of work. Like the day the turkeys came, oh, the vegan zombies also came that day.
What?
Chris and John?
Yes, and they both are like well aware that I'm the same person that they signed that book for about I'm eternally in love with them. And so it's sort of weirdly awkward for me, but they were super nice.
So did anyone else jump?
I think Chris is actually available if you want to try to snag him.
Did anyone else jump into your lap?
No one else jumped into my lap, but I did hug both of them. But I saw Chris. Chris was one of our drivers for the Ragnar race, so I had met him already.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Wait, so I can't reveal who wants to know, but here's some gossip. Chris, he's available, you say.
As far as I understand.
Is he heterosexual?
I think he does like women, yeah.
No, that's good for the person that wants to know, but I can't reveal any more than that.
Oh, okay, yes.
But I will pass that information on.
Granted, last time I heard of his single status was several months ago, so it's possible that it's changed. But last I heard he was single.
I know who it is. I guess it's either Clara or...
Clara the pig?
Clara the pig, yeah.
Yeah, Clara was interested.
Such a hoe, that Clara.
Oh,
yeah,
Clara.
She gets around, that's all I'm saying. She will make the rounds.
You know what? And I'm not going to slut shame anyone, but she a hoe.
Oh, Michael, it's so good to have you on the show.
It is fun.
So that's really like my farm story in a nutshell, I think.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
What's on the agenda for today?
For me?
Yeah.
What did I do already today? I cleaned out the cages. I just finished mucking out the big barn where all like there are laying chickens in there, and it's weird calling them laying chickens. I mean, but that's where they came from. Yeah. They're the ones that came from the battery farm. There are just 3 of them left.
Layers.
The thing with the layers, and I didn't know this before now, but they all wind up with reproductive cancer because they've been bred to lay so many eggs. So many of the ones that...
I remember that section in Eating Animals on the book, Jonathan Safran Foer's book, about egg-laying hens. It had such an impact on me. And he talked about how they just create this artificial environment that causes them to lay way more eggs than they do naturally.
Yeah.
Well, but it's also like they do all this stuff with lights. So like they leave the lights on 24 hours a day. So they think it's spring when it's the winter and stuff like that. And it's it's gotta F you up. Right, it's gonna jack you up.
They manipulate how much light they have or don't have, how much food and water they have and don't have, to trick their bodies into thinking it's a certain cycle. Can you imagine?
Right.
I mean, if you did that to a human being, that would be like such cruel and unusual. That would be torture. I mean, that's torture by definition.
Oh well, I can't imagine. I can't imagine like somebody like affecting my like, hormones or my body in such a way so that like I menstruated every week or something. When
I suggest we switch from Skype to Google Hangout, that alone almost,
that has psychological advantages.
I mean, she's spotting. She is spotting. Her shark is angry.
What is happening?
My period is actually starting tomorrow, in case you were wondering. So
I love periods.
Is it your first period?
Maybe treat me a little more delicately. I am going to shed my uterine lining.
Okay.
I love when we use like really technical, definite, like literal terms for things. Like, so I'm shedding my uterine lining.
Yeah.
I love it. So that is the one thing that makes me like, okay, that's that. I have nothing more to say.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to shut me down, but I don't know that much about vaginas. So
don't be afraid of periods. They happen.
I'm not afraid. And I listened to the Shark Week episode, I'll have you know.
I think I need to bleep the word vagina just because that's I won't bleep the word penis, of course, but I do need to bleep the word vagina because,
Well, we should all three show a nipple and we'll black out mine.
Oh, yes.
I'm not showing a nipple. Again.
Me neither.
Our users have seen enough of that.
Oh, users.
There isn't enough Jocelyn Fox in the entire universe to cover up. I'm just kidding.
I don't even get
Oh, God. Should we get to the news?
Yeah, let's get to some news. Let's
talk some news stories here.
Yeah.
Should we just jump right into the hottest topic of the universe right now?
I think so.
Okay. So, there is a new restaurant in New York City. No, I'm totally kidding. Okay. Listeners, I believe you've all heard about the murder of Cecil the Lion, because has anything ever been bigger news? Oh my God. So basically, to sum up, for maybe those of you who are healthy enough to not be on social media all day, every day, there was a canned hunt. Although, I called it a canned hunt last night when I was speaking to someone about it, and they said that to them it wasn't a canned hunt, but for me, any sort of fabricated hunt falls into that category to me. So this American citizen traveled to Africa and paid a large sum of money to fabricate a hunt so he could kill a lion, which is honestly a very normal practice. These canned hunts happen all the time. Wealthy people do this. And so, like I said, canned might be the wrong term. Anyway,
I
fabricated.
didn't hear what kind of people. What did you say? What kind of people do it? You said insecure people?
Wealthy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I thought you said people who are chronically insecure about Anyway,
and have really small genitalia.
Really small.
But anyway, so this large sum of money was paid to these people to create this hunt for this American U.S. citizen, and So what the controversy here really, obviously, because like I said, this does happen all the time. Well, actually, not all the time, but it happens. It's not an irregular thing to happen in Africa. The controversy here is that Cecil the lion lived on a preserve that was part of the Oxford study and un-Oxford study, and he was tagged and collared and obviously had a name and is part of a pride that is being observed. And he actually was the leader of a pride that's being observed and was considered, really like the pride of Zimbabwe. And everybody, he was a well-known lion. And he was lured off the grounds where he is protected with a carcass strapped to like a vehicle. And so that he could be hunted. And he was shot. I mean, the grisly details is that he was shot with a bow. And he survived that shot, but so they had to hunt him for an additional 40 hours before they could find him, and he finally was killed with a gunshot. So basically he suffered, with this wound, this arrow wound, for a solid 40 hours while he was hunted. So it's pretty... And he was, skinned and beheaded, and the U.S. citizen flew back to our country before the authorities realized what had happened in Zimbabwe. So obviously the people who arranged the hunt have all been arrested, and there's actually some call to have this guy extradited to come face charges in Zimbabwe. So, it's really sad and terrible, obviously.
There's no way this guy could have thought he was doing something that's legal. I mean, that is so... I lack the legal prowess to know what to call this other than shady, but that's some...
It is shady. And the other thing is, I've read, he says, he regrets it, and that he didn't know that this was like this beloved lion or whatever. And honestly, I have trouble believing him just because of his prior records. He has previously, in the U.S., he hunted a bear that was protected and he's not supposed to kill, and he paid a fine for that. And then he also had a huge sexual harassment lawsuit that he had to settle with women that worked for him. So I don't trust this guy. I mean, I feel like he does know where the line is and obviously has crossed it before. So, as much as I want to be like, well, maybe he didn't know that was this lion, I feel like he probably, even if he didn't know, he certainly didn't care because he's just displayed this behavior in the past. So I doubt it would have actually stopped him.
And the sad truth is that, like, if we've learned anything from the musical Chicago, like, I think people have learned that all you have to do after doing bad is, like, keep up a media campaign that you have such remorse and, oh my gosh, I didn't know and I feel so bad. All you have to do is get people's sympathy. All he has to do is, assert that he's not a demon, and assert, he
can't though. That's the other aspect to this story. This guy is dead. He's gonna get killed, or his life is ruined if he's gonna live. Everybody hates him. He has been so skewered.
What do you mean if he's gonna live?
I think someone's gonna kill this guy.
Wow.
I literally think he could get murdered.
Well, people are really angry.
People are so angry, it's insane. I mean, I actually am concerned about how angry people are about it. I'm worried about it. Like, I feel like the reaction is completely out of control. People are so upset.
I think it's good that people are awakened to their upset. I mean, just as having a pet awakens people to the possibility of empathy for an animal and a relationship with an animal as an individual, I really feel that this is an opportunity for people to see Cecil the Lion as an individual. This is a lion they never would have cared about before. This is if you had given a statistic for how many lions are illegally hunted, no one would have cared. But because we put a face to this, and because we painted a picture of that lion suffering, like 40 hours with an arrow wound, that really hooks people. And when you can, I mean, I feel like, I want to say, I feel like a better activist could, blah, 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 but that's me thinking I'm not the one to make this difference in the world. That's me assuming I'm not the one to take this opportunity and bridge the gap for those people who don't see it. And that's me assuming, oh, someone else will do that. Like, right, that's me thinking our hen house will handle this, Colleen will handle this, you know, Jane Velez Mitchell will handle this. But the truth is, like, what's there for me in this situation is to find a way to keep this conversation going and help people connect the dots.
What concerns me is the lack of compassion, because that's what I want people to have. And I feel like people have so much anger about it. It's not, and it's being directed at this person. I'm not saying that he's not a scumbag, because he seems like a serious scumbag to me, but he is a person, and I don't think we should be wishing him dead or sending him death threats or, you know, hanging signs on his all of his home and his office have been defaced. Like, I'm not into that. I'm not into people doing that, no matter who somebody is, no matter who they've killed. I mean, honestly, I think we should express our outrage in, like, healthy, safe ways, and that's fine. But I am uncomfortable when people talk about wanting to kill other people. It upsets me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be a drama queen about it, but it's like, I feel like...
I agree with you. Yeah. And I feel like I'm hesitant to bring this up because I've been just, like, going on and on about it. But these people that are so enraged and also are eating meat.
Yeah, they're not animal rights activists. And I feel like a lot of times this rage reaction, and I feel very reminded of what happened with Michael Vick, because there's, like, this huge rage reaction against Michael Vick, and it's like, to this day, and people act like, you know, it was this most abhorrent thing that had ever happened, and same thing with this. I mean, I spoke to someone last night who was so angry about what happened to Cecil. I mean, I could physically see it in his body when he was talking to me about it, saying how that dentist guy is going to get what he deserves and he needs to die and all this stuff. And it's like, that person that I was speaking to last night eats meat. And it's like, I feel like this rage reaction is what people say crazy vegans. It's like how animal rights activists get a bad name. And I swear that is not, sorry, I cussed. I swear that stuff, it's never actually coming from the vegans. At least I don't feel like it is.
Yeah.
Right? It comes from these crazy, I mean, I hate to say it, but the crazy dog rescue people who eat hamburgers. Those are the worst people, I think. Mm-hmm. They're not the worst people. I shouldn't say that. They're rescuing dogs.
Well, you know what you mean. People who when you say crazy, hypocritical, and when you say crazy, what you mean is passionate, right? You mean people who are so passionate about one cause and so disconnected to another reality.
And the reality,
very well said, Ben.
Their reality and the cause are connected. You know what I mean? Like dogs and lions.
Michael, someone's trying to assassinate you.
Wait.
Someone's trying to assassinate you. Someone walked in behind you, and I don't know if she's died.
That's okay. I think I'm gonna survive.
Okay.
I couldn't tell who it was though.
Okay. I've got eyes on her. I got your back.
Thank you.
I mean, it is. A lot of people say that you should look at this as an opportunity to help people connect the dots, but I find it difficult. I find that this is a difficult time to help people connect the dots because they get so mad, and they're like, I'm not like that hunter. You know what I mean? And they get so defensive because they think that is so disgusting what that man did, and it is disgusting. It's disgusting to spend $50,000 so you can kill something when that money could have helped people and that lion could have got to continue out his life. I mean, it's really abhorrent and upsetting. It is.
Killed someone.
Yes, thank you. But I mean, to me and to you guys, I know you're there with me. It's like I'm facing this every day from my loved ones, from my best friends. I have to deal with you doing something that I find upsetting, this upsetting. So maybe my reaction to Cecil isn't as big because I'm freaking numbed out, so I don't scream at my mom every time she eats bacon.
Yeah. I was thinking. Sorry, do you want to go ahead, Ben?
Go ahead.
There was something that you said to me, Laura, that I think you got from someone else, but it really connected for me, and I wrote it in a Facebook comment. Just that, like, I want people to be like, you guys who are looking at this thing with Cecil. Imagine if that was you felt the way you felt about it, but that was common practice, and all of your friends are lining up to like go shoot lions, and no matter what you said, they just thought you were judgmental, and you were just being oh, you're just one of those weird vegans. It's my choice to go do this, and everyone was so happy and excited, and oh, look at this beautiful corpse, and that's what it's like.
That's actually it's a quote. Just to credit it, that's a quote from Megan Rascal, who wrote a piece on Vegan Source. It has this great quote where she was, basically just said, well, how do you think, is there anything you're really passionate about, you're really against? Like, how about human trafficking? Are you really against human trafficking? Well, can you imagine if all of your loved ones didn't just think human trafficking was okay, but they were lined up eagerly, ready to support it? And it's like, yeah, that is how we have to deal with it really regularly.
Yeah. Michael, and Laura, I can't express enough what a great way of saying it that is. And I really want to use that, and I'm glad that we're like having this conversation on air and recording this, because I think that right there is something people can really take and apply in their next conversations with people. And one of the things
it's so heavy.
One of the things I wanted to add to that, and speaking of how heavy it is, there's actually a purr that I just jotted down that I would love to follow this with immediately if we can. I'm not to close this conversation, but after it's done, I really want to talk about something to bring some light to this. But I had a conversation the other day. This is totally an aside, but I had a conversation yesterday with a man who was using the B word to a woman. Now, the thing is, this was in a coaching scenario, and the woman was saying, she's like, when I'm talking to my mom, I'm always being such a B, and blah, blah, blah. And he was just recreating what she was saying. He's like, yeah, so, you're on the phone with your mom and you're being a B, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, because you're being such a B, blah, blah. And this man was so casually using the word, and I don't care whether a woman was okay with using it herself. I found it so inappropriate. And when I tried to have a conversation with him, he immediately snapped at me and turned it on me and blah, blah. And I was really upset with how the conversation went down. And I was talking to my coach, who I have, and what he really got me present to was like, Ben, what was missing from your communication with this guy that would have made a difference for him? And it's not that I couldn't see, I was unwilling to look at what was missing on my behalf. And, there's a concept of making somebody wrong. And he's like, the thing is, Ben, you were making him wrong. And I'm like, I was not making him wrong. I resolved all of that in my mind before I had this conversation. I told myself he's not the bad guy. I told myself he's not wrong. He's just unaware, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Ben, making someone wrong isn't a thing that you consciously do or don't do. Whether you made him wrong or not, if he is left with the feeling that you made him wrong, if he is left with the feeling that you are telling him he's wrong, then you made him wrong. That's a product of your communication, whether it was intended or not. And what I really had to consider for myself was, what was really missing in my conversation for him was an opportunity. I really didn't present this as an opportunity for him to discover something new, to see something about his communication. And what this all really how this relates to this is it really left me.
I totally get that. I think that is great. That's like, because it's true. I posted this thing about Kendall Jones last year, who was another big game hunter. She hunted all that game in Africa. And like, in that post, I really was like, you are not better than her, you meat eaters. Yeah. You are not better. And that is making them wrong when you're saying, that's exactly what you're saying. When you point out and say, you're no better than the hunter. Kat Von D did that on her page. Huge uproar. She actually posted a half-an-hour video on YouTube in response to it. But, because she said, you're no different than the Cecil hunter, which is like, that is what upsets people, instead of saying, what you're saying, which is showing them a different way that they can make a connection and show them an opportunity to learn that and make that connection. That's great. I mean, that's you're totally spot on.
One of the things that my coach really helped remind me, is what I'm learning to do. And I mean, look, I will never award myself with a plaque or a medal for being the world's best listener. I mean, I really get that. And I'm committed to going to work in that area of my life to be a better listener. And I realize how much my not being a great listener just stems from self-consciousness, but the whole joke of that is, if I'm self-conscious, where is my consciousness, right? I'm thinking about me again, and that's where I'm like, oh, I should talk. But in being with this person yesterday and in trying to have that conversation, what I really realized is missing that does make a difference for people is, there's 3 parts to what my coach calls recreation. Right, the first part is you just acknowledge what that person said, right? Like if I'm going on and on about something and you just stop and say, wow, Ben, so what I'm hearing is, you're upset about blah, 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 so-and-so said this to you and it really blah, blah, blah left you feeling that way. I would be like, oh, yeah, you really get me, right? And I wouldn't feel the need to keep going on and on about it because you'd be like, oh, they got it, So first is just to let someone know that you get their communication and as much as possible to sort of repeat back to them what they said. And the second thing after that.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I was a conflict manager when I was 14, and that's called the McDonald's rule.
That's a McDonald's rule?
Yeah, repeat. Because if you order at McDonald's, you repeat your order back to you. You say, I want 2 double cheeseburgers and fries, and the McDonald's person always says, so you want 2 double cheese. It's actually a toddler rule, too. I use it with the toddlers. You repeat it back to them. Nanny, can I have a cookie? You're asking me for a cookie? Always. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I said and you...
Yeah. But yeah, and the second thing that follows that is, I'm just going to make a quick second here to make a note.
Sorry.
Don't say sorry.
Is this segment going to be cut out anyway right now?
No, just that little
okay.
bleep.
I'm just becoming aware of time.
Oh, okay, no worries. I think we can.
Yeah, me too.
Laura, I think we can wrap after this. I think we've got what we needed to get today.
I think this is a great episode. I totally agree.
Yeah, and I see no reason to drag it on for the purpose of time. But let me just finish by saying, so recreating what that person has said, and the second thing is acknowledging the emotion behind it. Like, and I really, Cecil
absolutely.
And I really get that that's really frustrating for you, right? And just to speed it along, the third component of that is acknowledging the commitment behind what's being said. So it's not the thing that the person's saying, but it's what you're getting that they're committed to. So like, wow, I'm hearing that, so you're, upset that this lion was killed and you're upset that it had to suffer. And I really get how frustrating and defeating that is for you. And I really get that you're committed.
And you're upset that someone can do that, that somebody can spend that much money and go do that.
And you're really committed to animals, not suffering, And right there, you've created a relatedness with that person, and from there you can create an opportunity with them. And I would just love to, leave people with, and I'll just end with this, but to leave people with the idea that, like, well, if what you really are committed to is ending animal suffering, then perhaps you could take a look in your life to see where you can minimize the suffering of animals, and maybe then that will give you some peace of mind knowing that you're actually restoring that, what you see as being out of balance in the world, and you're taking an action and putting that into place in your life to counter that, right? I don't know. I mean,
I'm high as a kite off this conversation.
No, I really love that because it's giving, instead of being like, well, if you feel this way, which is what I'm super guilty of, if you feel this way, why aren't you also being vegan? Like, if you're mad about the lion, well, you're a jerk because you should be vegan too if you care about that lion. But the better approach is what you're saying, and ending with, because you feel this compassion toward animals, here's an idea of something else you can do to that can stem from that compassion. Like, I see your. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that for some reason, certain things hit me at the right place and the right time. And sometimes what I find myself saying is I always say thank you, because you'll see somebody complaining about animal cruelty who is, an omnivore. And I'll find myself in the right place where I can be like, you know, I totally agree, and I find it very upsetting that animals are treated so poorly during their lives, and thank you so much for caring. And those are the things we need to be saying instead of like, that's where you start from. That's how you build the bridge. Is if you're like, thank you so much for caring about Cecil. I think it's great that you are so heartbroken over the loss of this lion. I understand. I connect with your heartbreak over it. I also think it's really tragic.
And you know, like they can connect, like, because that will connect the dots, and they can connect it for themselves. Because there's no secret that any of the three of us are vegan, right? So if we say something like that to someone, they're going to be like, "Oh, wow, that you know what? That person is also vegan, and that's why they're thanking me." You know what I mean? Like,
and I think even rather than even phrasing something, like one thing that I'm really aware of lately is anytime the word should is being used, whenever I'm told should, even if I'm telling myself should, like I should go to the gym, I'm hearing it like a little finger wag at me. Not the drag queen kind, it's like not the finger wag of approval, but like, you know, like the shame finger. I really hear should as sort of shaming for what I'm not doing, but when I think about in terms of could, like, oh wow, I really could do
my
that.
sponsor says that all the time. Don't say should, say could.
But
that's one of my sponsor's biggest things, yeah.
Oh, and also I think that in this kind of a situation, people are really more receptive to hearing you talk about yourself in terms of like, well, you know, yeah, I really relate with, you know, with what you're sharing. When I learned that this was going on, that was the thing that made me decide I'm really upset about you know, any living beings suffering unnecessarily. And so what I did with that, you know, is I explored this area of my life where I could actually make an impact. You know, and I think people can make up their minds for themselves, you know, and can be led a lot more than we give them credit for. I don't like saying led, but I don't feel like I need to. I always feel like I have such an there's what I'm committed to, and then there's my being attached to the outcome, and that's what I need to be willing to give up. And often in these conversations, I'm so attached to make this person vegan, make them vegan. As a result of this conversation, I have ego tied up in that as well. Like, Caldwell went vegan, right, shortly after I met him. And I talked to someone, I've said this a million times, but I talked to a friend of ours. I'm like, oh, really? Any reason why he went vegan? And my friend was like, yeah, some lady on the subway gave him a flyer, right? And when I asked him, what did she say that you went vegan? He's like, she didn't actually say anything. She handed me a flyer, and she was smiling. And the way that she was smiling, the second that flyer hit my hand, I was vegan. You know, and granted, he didn't stay vegan and blah, blah, blah. But, like, there's a lot of ego wrapped up in my attachment to the outcome. And if I can let go of my attachment to what the person does, whatever the person does with that information, even if they go vegan as a result of it, that's still theirs. It's not mine, you know? And if I can let go of that attachment, it really frees me up just to be a clear stand for my commitment. And I can trust that, you know, God put me in that person's path for a reason, and that's not going to be lost on that person. You know, they can hear what I
always find, to the friends of mine that do go vegan, it is always such a huge shock. It's always totally unexpected. It's never somebody that I had the conversation with. You know?
People come out of the woodwork.
Yeah. Well, like my girlfriend Julia, she was tutoring my twins for a little while, and I was just seeing her, and she would like sort of ask me questions now and then, and I didn't think anything of it. And then finally one day she was like, so I really think I want to go vegan. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh. And then I was like, had this panic, like, what have I been saying?
What do I do? How do I handle this? But, you know, recently, I'm trying to remember what conversation really made this real for me, but someone was talking to me about, like, my approach to veganism and my approach to, like, shaming people, or, oh, you know what it was? It was the people I was talking with about Kaporis. They're not animal rights activists. We were all having dinner together at Blossom, funny enough, and that's where this conversation, I'm eating at Blossom with two people. One is Orthodox Jewish, one is just culturally Jewish, and they were both observing the I forget what's the weekend. It's like the Sabbath, the thing where you can't pay for yourself or do whatever. Funny that people would invent something where you can't pay for yourself. I want to, yeah, that. Anyway, and one of them, he was kind of trying to offer me the whole concept of, well, you know, Ben, if you're against something, then you sort of need the thing you're against to persist so you can be against it. Like Mother Teresa said, don't invite me to an anti-war rally, invite me to a peace rally. I get that. I get that, like, being against something, in a sense, sort of calls it into being so that I can be against it. But there was a part of me that wanted to say, like, oh yeah, well, the way I've been doing it, here's my track record. Like, here are my statistics. Vegan almost 6 years, and in that time, at least 36 people I know went vegan because of me, and how many people have gone vegan because of them. But here's the thing, like, you know, I could keep muscling my way through something. Like, stupid analogy, I could stop studying voice. I could just, like, push through as a singer and kind of muscle through my own way of singing, and I could make a career for myself doing that. Is it going to be as free and easy and as beautiful and as successful and sustainable as what I could really build with my voice teacher? It's not a great analogy, but what I mean by that is, I think sometimes it's really, it's very small to want to look at the payoff of doing it the way I've been doing it. Like, oh yeah, well, what I'm doing is successful because these people went vegan. When in truth, if I were totally unleashed and totally out of my way and totally non-reactive and not triggered and non-resistant, I know that I could be having a much bigger, much broader impact with a lot more, and bring a lot more velocity to my activism in a way that makes a much bigger difference for the animals. So I'm really interested in that inquiry right now, is what can I do to get out of my own way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All this being said, and I am totally just getting moisturized by how rich this conversation is, but easier said than done, right? I mean, that's the truth of the matter. No matter how many times I know these things intellectually and I can feel them, I'll get in the moment and I'll have my feelings, or they'll catch me at the wrong time. And you know what? It is hard. We don't have to be perfect, and we don't have to maintain it all the time. But it is so good, I think, to talk about it and know, like, you know, how we want to be, how we want to work towards being, what our goal is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so corny.
Yeah, but it's really valuable.
And you know, I guess I would also be like, I think there is that illusion that it's the wrong time, right? Like, it is always right now. You know, it's never not going to be now, and you know, thinking that it's the wrong time. One thing I got recently.
You know, I meant like I'm in a bad mood if it hits me at the wrong time.
But what I really got recently is that when people talk about it being the wrong time, it's not actually time they're talking about; it's circumstances, right? Like, it's not that it's the wrong time; it's that I am angry right now. It's that I don't have the money right now. It's always that I don't have. It's always a product of circumstance. And what I really am getting is that when it's never the wrong time. It's just always an opportunity to practice this. Like what we're talking about in this conversation, every moment is an opportunity to be practicing it. So I can either be practicing it or going back to, you know, what I've learned to do, which might not be the best thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Well,
this is a great conversation.
Does anyone have any more to say about this specifically?
No. I'm so glad we talked about it. Honestly, I sort of didn't want to because I was like, Cecil.
Yeah, but it became a good conversation about how to be more effective in our advocacy. So I think it's amazing.
I feel like it did too. Yeah, I think it's good.
Well, I want to add in one thing that I don't know where it popped in my head. I think we were just talking about, somewhere in this conversation we were talking about like the heaviness of the subject, right, and the effect that that has on us. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but I recently saw, I think on Instagram, Animal Activist Helpline, 1-800-705-0425. So if you're out there and you are an animal activist and you just can't deal with this story, or you can't deal with that conversation you just had with your mom who's eating bacon in front of you and joking about it, or if you are experiencing burnout or considering withdrawing from the movement, or thinking you can't make a difference, or thinking, veganism isn't working for me, I just need to listen to my body. Animal Activist Helpline, 1-800-705-0425. And I'm just going to commit right now to taking, 3 small actions to sharing that number, so that, because I never knew that existed, and I want to make that more available to people. So if you're listening to this, really think about, what can you do to share that? So I'm going to share that on Instagram, and I'm going to share that on Twitter, and I'm going to share that on Facebook to get the word out.
Work it.
Lovely.
And I'm also going to quickly call them to make sure that number works, because I never called them before.
Don't do it right now.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. It's already ringing. I can multitask.
Oh my God, he's making a phone call.
Just
all right, should we start to close out the episode?
Yes.
All right.
The number works.
Okay, so if you guys want to contact us, you can reach us at bigfatveganradio@gmail.com. You can call us at 314-835. Oh, wait, sorry, dyslexia. Scratch that. You can call us at 315-834-2601. You can tweet us at Big Fat Vegans. You can YouTube us at Big Fat Vegan Radio. And you can follow Ben and I both on Instagram and Twitter at Honey LaBronx and at Laura Yaz.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I throw in my little websites and stuff real quick?
Go ahead.
We're out of time. I'm so sorry.
MichaelHarren.com is my website, and I'm on everything just as @Michael Harren on Twitter and Instagram. And the website for the sanctuary is TamerlaineFarm.com.
Tamerlaine farm.com, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, just some shameless plugs here as well. Laura, did you go down the contact info or the Facebook thing? I'm trying to see where we are in the script.
We're at 3 Minutes About a Movie and Honey LaBronx Vegan Drag Queen Cooking Show.
Oh, great. I don't know if we went over membership, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for contributing to our last fundraiser, which also went to help Tamerlaine, didn't it? That was our beneficiary?
Yes!
Yay, full circle. Everything that the light touches, Simba, is yours. So everything that the light touches, you have made wrong. So if you go to Big Fat Vegan Radio and just click on Support Us, there's a lot of ways there that you can help us out. And yeah, so also you can check us out on YouTube. You can see Laura's 3 Minutes About a Movie. Just go to youtube.com/Laura Yaz. And you can check out Honey LaBronx's Vegan Drag Queen Cooking Show at vegandragqueen.com. And you can buy some of my famous medieval oil at medievaloil.com. I'm trying to think. Ooh, hi. Across the way from my building, there's another building.
Oh, God, he's cruising.
No, there's a roof deck, and there's just a shirtless guy on the roof, just sunning himself.
Cruising. I know what that ooh is.
It's not cruising. He can't see me.
I could identify that ooh from 1,000 miles away. 3,000 miles away to be more accurate.
This is what we count on. Our. I don't like using the word F hags as people do, but this is what our Michelle Visages. This is what we count on.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Sure, your lady parts.
Our lady. Mm-hmm. Our lady parts.
Counterparts.
Yes. What a great thing to call it. Laura, you are my lady part. There we go. Also,
there you go. I love it.
Speaking of lady parts, I have a musical guest to introduce at this episode. My good friend Samara. I don't know which name she's going by now, but she used to be most known as Princess Lockaroo. Lockeroo with 3 O's. Sometimes it's only with 2 O's. If you Google her or you stop what you're doing, stop watching this episode. Stop looking at my face. Stop listening to me.
Pause this episode.
Look up Princess Lockaroo. She teaches a form of dance known as whacking. WAACKING. And girls, when you see
what whacking is.
She is the fiercest of the fierce, and she's and she's vegan. And she just released. She's a fierce whacker, and she just released and I said her name wrong. It's not Samara. It's Samara. So it's Samara. And
I know I just have to put this in here. I know all of our listeners think that it's like this running joke where Ben doesn't pronounce names right. It's not. It's totally for real, and he has to write things phonetically.
Sometimes. The running joke, I'll just leave that. I literally asked her, I've known her for years, and I'm like, just tell me, is it Samara or Samara? So in the notes here I have written rhymes with the car, with car all in caps, so I know which syllable to emphasize. So it's Samara. There we go. I'll tell you, doing a year of birthday songs for people on Facebook, you learn how to pronounce names. I'll never forget pronouncing Xingwei and Ogush. But anyway, it's her first dance single. So today we will be playing for you Dance, Dance, Dance by Samara, featuring Bob the Drag Queen rapping.
Awesome!
Yay! So,
all right.
Shout out to this guy here, Michael.
Michael
Thank
Harren.
you so much for having me.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
Also, we'll thank Kelly Huffine, the artist behind our cartoons and logo. And, of course, we have to thank Madison Marie and Sarya Wu, our fabulous interns who keep everything rolling.
And,
all right, that's all we've got.
Yeah.
That's all we've got today for Big Fat Vegan Radio. Please subscribe to us through iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. It is extra helpful if you can leave us an awesome rating and a glowing review.
Yep. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, please be sure to give us a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, be sure to let us know what you thought of this episode on our Facebook page. Send us a tweet, leave us a voicemail. I just burped. Or leave us a comment at bigfatveganradio.com. We love hearing from you guys. And I love hearing from both of you guys.
I love hearing from you guys.
Thanks for coming on the show, Michael.
Guys, thank you so much for having me. I love you both.
Yay. And go give those chickens a hug for me. Oh, and while you're there, Michael, could you give everyone at Tamerlaine a message from me? Because it's been a while since I've chatted with any of them.
Yeah.
Could you let them know, if they haven't already, to go vegan!
Go vegan!
We're such morons.
Put your hands in the air, live your life without a care. People standing at the bar, doesn't matter who you are. Feel the music, feel the music, feel the music, feel the music. We're gonna dance, cause the love, love, love is all around. It's all around. We're gonna dance, cause the love, love, love is all around. It's all around. Put your hands in the air, live your life without a care. People standing at the bar, doesn't matter who you are. Feel the music, feel the music, feel the music, feel the music. We're gonna dance, cause the love, love, love is all around. It's all around. We're gonna dance, cause the love, love, love is all around. It's all around.
Hey girl, yeah, you the one standing over by the bar crying into your martini, surrounded by your friends. What you looking sad for? Your boyfriend broke up with you? Your job laid you off? Well, leave your worries at the bar and live your life on the dance floor.
Pose when the beat goes. Stop. Pose when the beat goes. Stop. Walk like you're all that. Snap, snap. Don't look back. Walk like you're all that. Feel the music. Feel the music. Feel the music. Feel the music. I wanna dance, cause the love is all around. It's all around. I wanna dance, cause the love is all around. It's all around. Just work the beat, now move your feet, then turn around and touch the ground. Just work the beat, now move your feet, then turn around and touch the ground. If you wanna be a star, show us who you are. There is beauty within you, if you believe it to be true. It's not hard to find romance, all you gotta do is dance. Feel the rhythm and the groove, the music shows you what to do. I wanna dance, 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 dance. I wanna dance, 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 groove, the music tells you what to do. Feel the rhythm, feel the groove, the music tells you what to do. Accept yourself and dance with me, embrace your individuality. Accept yourself, dance with me, embrace your individuality. Imagine what our world would be if life were a disco fantasy. The love we share will set us free, respect will build community. The leaders of our world would make peace and banish war forever. If kings and queens and presidents would hold hands and dance together.
Yeah, so that all ended yesterday when I was in there, like, I was trying to their, like, their thing, and I was going in to get it, and they all, like, 3 of them me, and started at my, and I was like, this is cool, everything's fine, and then one of them starts up, like, at me, and I was like, okay, bye y'all, and I left, and I haven't been back in there since.